Hi, I'm Allison McNamara. For today's DIY, I'm going to show you how to embellish your stockings. These are going to be so special, you will love them. Let's get started. So here's what you'll need: a needle and thread, lacy pattern tights, and sequins, beads, and bugle beads. This DIY is pretty simple, but it does require patience and sewing, but I promise the result will be worth it. So what you're going to do is find out which way you want your tights to be worn. This is important because we're going to sew on embellishments to the lace, so you want to choose whether you want it on the side, the front, the back, etc. So I'm going to have this be my front and this be my back. And I found the easiest way to do this is to take a cup and actually put it in the leg of the stocking. That way it makes it easier to sew on. Because the first time I did this, I sewed the two legs together. That was weird. So a thing to keep in mind too is that your foot takes up a good portion of the tights. So you want the embellishments to start around the calf, and you can go as high up as you want. You can put on as many as you want, but just make sure you don't embellish your feet because that would be really uncomfortable to walk on. Yeah. So I'm going to start about a foot in to the stocking. And the whole point of using the lacy pattern stocking is to actually embellish over the pattern. So you'll see that it's more concentrated with tight material in the pattern areas. So that's where you want to embellish. So then take your needle and thread, and you're going to want to start off with about 1.5 feet of thread. You can always add more thread, seal off your beads, and so forth, so don't worry about that. So thread your needle and thread, and then you're going to seal off the end. The easiest way to seal off a needle and thread is to get your finger wet and then roll it into a ball at the end several times around your fingertip, like so, and then get it between your fingers and roll it. This will create a knot between all those threads and fibers, and it will seal off our thread. Pull it, and you'll see you've got a nice little ball. So the first stitch is the hardest because you actually have to start going in through the tights because you don't want this ball to be on the outside of our tights, right? So take your needle and thread, go the whole way in. This is tricky. And a tip here is if you're having a hard time getting that ball to stay on the opposite side of the tights, you can actually thread on one sequin to act as a stopper so that the thread doesn't keep coming through the tights. Just a little tip if you're having a hard time. Once you have that first thread through, it's time to start embellishing our tights. This is where it gets really fun. So to attach the embellishments onto the tights, you're gonna need to sew them on. What I mean by that, if you don't know how to sew, is to go in and out through the hole of the bead, and then through the tights, and then back through the hole of the bead again. So it really secures it in place. So far I've done 2 clusters, but I'm sure you get the idea. Really the options are endless. You can put on as many beads as you want, and I even like it when you do some single sequins kind of trickling down the leg as well. This is a great idea for the holiday season. It adds a little sparkle to your tights, and you know you'll be the only ones with these, especially on New Year's Eve.